Today is day 8 of filing for divorce while pregnant. And last night my husband told me that he had a fever and he hadn't been feeling good, but he pushed through it yesterday. Now the first thing that came to my mind was every hurt, every pain, every ache, every hard situation that I have faced since our separation, he wasn't a part of, he didn't care about. He was there one time, and it was after I ran my mouth a million miles a minute. And so I was not going to respond because I'm carrying your whole child and I have taken on all of the responsibilities, including to build your child and continue to maintain my children in the home that we have together. But who I am it has to be who I am regardless of what somebody else does. So I just told him to feel better, gave him some suggestions as to what to do, and he was supposed to bring our daughter home today. And so this morning I woke up and I'm just like, dang, like the wife in me wants to, the wife, the nurturer in me wants to help and to check on them, but the other side, like, why am I supposed to care? Why am I supposed to care? And so I decided to call him. I called, he didn't answer, and I was just like, dang, I wonder if he's asleep because he don't feel good. So I gave it a few minutes because I was just like, also I was trying to figure out what he was gonna do with my daughter. But then I called him back, and then I realized he wasn't home. And so I called him again and I texted him, I was like, pick up. So he answers the phone aggressively and I hear him in a car and I'm like, where are you? He talking about, I said, what are you doing? Why you didn't answer? He talking about, cause I was busy, what's up? And I'm like, where are you? Don't ask me where I am. And I was like, where are you? Don't ask me where I am, what the F? Just like talking crazy. Then I hear him say, see, this is what I go through, nigga. And I'm like, who are you talking to? He said his friend's name, his friend. So then I can hear his friend is on the phone with his wife. So we have two grown men who are on the phone with their wives, and one of them are yelling and disrespecting their pregnant wife, and the other is talking regular to their wife, you know, kiki, ha, and that immediately pissed me off and I went off on my husband. And the more I thought about it, the more it pissed me off because he really just disrespected me in front of another man and his wife. That's not making me emotional for the reason that you may think. It's like, how are you okay with yourself? And then this is a prime example of why I felt like I couldn't take being connected to him anymore. But what makes it worse is this grown married man hears you speak to your pregnant wife like that and there's no correction. There's no side eye, nothing. I don't know, I'm not in the car, but this is not a new situation. So I can only imagine. And to make this worse, the reason why me and my husband kept getting into it earlier on in my pregnancy was because I was just dealing with an influx of emotions caused by his present actions. So it was like he was picking me up and dropping me in areas of pain that I had experienced over the years. But I would try to bring that to him in the most respectful way that I could, and he just couldn't show up. It's almost like he stonewalled me, and I couldn't take it. It made it worse, and I started spiraling. Specifically, we've been in this very same position before, 3 years ago. I called my husband. He had started this new job that I went out of my way to help him get. Now, of course, he got the job on his own, but what does the word say that we are to our husbands, that they're helpmeet? So I just made the connection and reached out to the hiring manager, gave his information, and he was in training, and I just called to ask how it was going. He was so mean. He was really mean. And I was just sitting on the phone like, what's happening right now? And I was pregnant with our daughter, so that really hurt my feelings. And to make it worse, he was sitting in the truck with another man. So another man heard you talk to your pregnant wife like that. Just to find out a couple weeks later that he was involved in an adulterous relationship with somebody he swore he was not dealing with. I asked him very detailed questions, ones that a liar should not be able to lie about. That's the way I formulated them. Just a couple weeks before this, he answered no to every single one, just to find out that that wasn't true. And so today, when we are just days away from our divorce being granted and weeks away from our son being born, and I keep displaying to the best of my ability the love of God rather than being hateful, and this is what I encounter, is exactly why I pushed him so hard for that divorce. I see videos all the time that talk about how men act when they don't like you. And I swear I've been telling my husband this for the past at least 2 years. Year and a half, 2 years. And he always tells me that I'm wrong. He says that I'm wrong. He dies by the fact of telling me that I'm wrong. And that I don't understand him. And I don't know why he's doing this and doing that. But when I encounter him, I just be like, this man don't like me. Like, it just is very clear. He doesn't like me. And today, when I took it upon myself to just see if this man was okay, when he don't check on me, I can count on one hand the amount of times that he's probably checked on me since we separated in November. And I'm just thrown back because every day I pray to the Lord about how I handle things, not just with this marriage, just making sure that I'm getting proper healing and that I'm not covering things up and, just going to my Father, making sure that I'm in right standing with him, just being a daughter and just asking for help in areas that I want to overcome. Constantly trying to lay things down, make sure that I'm not holding them while trying to heal for them. And how I respond to things is one of those things, when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm upset. And so I was disappointed for several reasons because I blanked on him. I cussed him out, called him names. And I don't typically do that, but it was the level of disrespect. Now, I have called my husband names, but the names that I called, I don't typically do that. And I'm just in awe. And my husband knows how to piss me off too. And I know what pisses him off. So I decided that I was going to make him stand on that. I called him back. And I was going to have him put me on speaker. And I was going to say what I had to say. But it didn't turn out like that. And then that was a lose-lose battle because even if I forced myself to make him do something, what did I gain? And I've been battling with his level of involvement in our lives moving forward. I'm not the type of parent to keep their children from their other parent. And I never want the storyline of bitter. But I learned years ago with this one baby daddy that it didn't matter who you are and what you are. If they want to paint you something, then that's what they're going to do. And one of my older cousins helped me with that because he was really tarnishing my character. And it was so strange because literally, y'all, all I do is mind my business and take care of my kids. I don't cause no mess. I don't get into things. I don't. The only thing that I'm focused on is my children and God. I've been that way for years. And so it just really took offense to the fact that my child's father was really trying to make me look away because I left him. Like, why are you doing that? He even literally, y'all, which this may come up in a different video, but I left one day and I was debating on not coming back. And I said, no, I'm not going to let the devil win like this. So eventually, after a couple days, I came back. While I was gone, that particular baby daddy sat on the phone with my husband for an hour talking about me. I told my husband when we met he was going to do that. He actually tried this one time before with my husband when we were dating. Conversation didn't really go anywhere. And he's actually done that to one other of my boyfriends. I haven't been in many relationships. So the guy that I dated before I met my husband, he tried to do the same thing to him. Tried to talk about me to him. And I was just like, what's your obsession? But anyways, that alone, the fact that my husband sat and listened to the voice of another man who couldn't handle the outcome of his decisions, that I don't bother. I literally do not bother my children's fathers. I might tell them that I need something. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. I'm not going back and forth. You're not going to hear nothing from me. Anyways, I'm saying that to say my character, I don't want to be the person that, they have something to say about. But I have started to put the two together. And being a parent doesn't start after a child is born. So that means that my husband is showing the type of parent that he wants to be with our son while I've been pregnant. I mean, personally, I don't feel like our personal issues have anything to do with our son. And he keeps putting me in situations where I feel like he cannot be involved in my life at all. That it would really have to be on the level when my children are old enough to speak and they could tell me if anything is wrong. Not that I expect for anything to ever happen to my children, but you got to think about the psychological part of this, let alone the spiritual part. Somebody that can treat you like that while you cultivate life for them. Then on top of that, have taken on all of the responsibilities that they are supposed to be taken care of. Will shame you and disrespect you while you're doing something magical, supernatural. And then I'm supposed to want him in the delivery room with me. I'm supposed to want him to watch me in a near-death experience. When I already gave him the opportunity with our daughter. And it's just like every time I talk to him, it's like he solidifies the decision that I'm going to have to make. And right now, this is just me venting. But that's a lot for somebody to deal with. And I told my husband that he needed to apologize in front of the very people that he disrespected me in front of. But after I sat here for a second, I said, don't even worry about it. Because at the end of the day, the type of man that he wants to be is who he is being. And I'm not sitting here acting like I'm some perfect angel. I'm not. I've had some really bad reactions to the pain that he caused me, which caused me to do things and say things that I'm not proud of. I'm just being accountable for me. And so he has been hurt. But this right here, to me, is next level. Especially when you already didn't get it right the first time. And not to mention, this is the child he asked to have to recover from what he put me through the first time I had his child. It's extremely ironic, and it's also very heartbreaking because the fact that we are even having a son is very spiritually telling, and I wish he had eyes to see. But there's no part of me that wants to be connected to a man who feels that way about me, who treats me that way. Not one, which is why I pushed him so hard. And I know that he's going to blame me later on for our divorce and tell me how I forced it on him and I made him leave. He keeps saying that. I said he couldn't be around. No, you cannot. You cannot be around causing our family to be in discord. I have young boys. It was a hard decision to make, but I had to make it. Because he wouldn't choose to do anything different. So, here it is. another part of my testimony that I hope someone else can see one day and know that you're not alone in whatever you are feeling or going through, but that God is a comforter. And vengeance is the Lord. And the one thing about that is you cannot be concerned about what that looks like. Whatever the Lord decides to do with somebody, with his children, is between them and God. The reward is your healing. This is a hard road to walk. And I hate this for my husband. I do hate this for my husband. I hate to see him the way that he is, because he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what he's doing. No, he knows what he's doing on this side. But he doesn't even know. It's heartbreaking to see somebody like that, especially somebody that you love. You're so bound and ignorant to the things of the Spirit. It's heartbreaking for my son, but it is what it is, and that's where I'm at with it. And I'm disappointed in myself for the way that I just responded, because truthfully, I should have just hung up. But it's the pregnancy hormones, and that was a trigger. He triggered me really bad by doing that. And I don't understand. I just can't comprehend why he feels like he has to present himself like that about me to others. Because how hard would it have been to just answer the phone and say, hey, what's up? I'm driving. I don't know if he was driving or passenger, but he's like, I'm doing something. But then you got a nerve to say, this is what I'm dealing with. Like, how immature are you? Because when people effectively communicate, you don't leave areas for confusion. Like, what? I don't even want to go there, but the whole conversation and situation could have went differently. But I do know that when people present you a certain way to other people, they have to withhold the standard. So how my husband talks when he's around people, around his mom or his friends, it lets me know. It lets me know. But here's to day 8. When I was just last night making sure that I continue to surrender everything to the Lord and this, and just trusting him with whatever his plan is, and really just hoping that there could be mutual respect. And every time I choose forgiveness and a Christ-like behavior, I'm met with the opposite. But I guess that's just a test of my character. Because at the end of the day, this process is about me and God.